Good morning, everybody. I'm Tom Kelleher, the mayor, and I want to take this opportunity to welcome you all to this ceremony this morning. It's a little bit of a mixed emotion because we all remember Bob very fondly, and we're sorry to see him pass away when he did, but we also thought that to honor him like this today would be something that would make him happy, and so we're happy to be able to participate in this ceremony. You know, anybody that's been around Toms River for a while certainly knew who Bob Levy was. He was a fixture in town. I had a couple of personal experiences with him. After 9/11, he helped us with a woman whose husband was a victim of the ground zero symptoms, who was dying and still hadn't gotten any money, and they were ready to be evicted, and Bob went to bat and raised a lot of money for them and helped us. And then after Sandy, I can't tell you how helpful he was. We had a need to communicate with the people in town, and all they had to do was call Bob and say, hey, I need a little airtime, and he'd say, okay, as soon as this commercial's finished, you're on. Announce where food pantries were going to be, or water, or transportation. So I had that personal recollection of him, but we have somebody here whose personal recollection goes back a lot further than mine, and that's our Councilman Mo Hill, who goes back to the Lakewood days when Bob was a coach. So, Councilman Hill, do you want to take the microphone?
Thank you, Mayor. My attachment to Bob Levy goes back further than OBM. I played Little League Baseball with him, and there's a generation of us in the late 50s, 60s, even into the early 70s. His involvement in Lakewood Little League did a lot to the formation of our adult lives. Bob taught us more about the sport of baseball than any coach I ever had. Football, basketball, wrestling, you name it. He taught us the entire theory of baseball. First couple of practices when I was a 10-year-old, we didn't touch a bat and a ball and a glove. He brought out a chalkboard and said, I'm going to teach you the sport of baseball and the theory of baseball. He had two important rules that he would take you out of the game for, and I didn't realize till later in life that they had application to your adult life. One was if you yelled at a teammate for making an error, you were out of the game. I did that once. The teammate was my brother, so I thought I had a valid reason to do it, but he yanked me from the game. The other rule he had was if you picked up a baseball and didn't know where to throw it after a play. Both of those, I think, are applicable to life. You're going to make errors in life. You're going to make mistakes. Move on. Don't dwell on them. Don't blame anybody. Just move on. The same thing with every teammate of mine from the Lakewood Indians knew exactly what to do with the ball, whether it was hit to him in the air or on the ground. And that applies in life. You need a plan. Otherwise, you're in chaos and you're assuring failure. So Bob will always be, to me, Coach Levy. He was a great man, and I am very happy to be able to be here for this unveiling. And I want to thank the mayor and OBM for the opportunity to speak on his behalf. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo. The next person I'm going to ask to come up here is another person that we all know, and is himself an icon on the radio program and has been for years. I'm always a little reluctant when I see you guys show up in pink Bermuda shorts, but please welcome my friend Kevin Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. Normally I don't write things down, but I decided to do so in this case. I would like to say on behalf of our market president, Dennis Lamy, who's here, I'm happy to represent the staff of WOBM and Town Square Media. As some of you know, we occupy the second, third, and fourth floors of the beautiful brown building behind us, and the fourth floor are the studios for 92.7, Beach Radio 1160 and 1310, 105.7 The Hawk, and 94.3 The Point. That fourth floor, as we know, is the Bob Levy Broadcast Center. Today, thanks to the mayor and council, the township of Toms River will be naming something after the iconic and rather unique Hall of Fame broadcaster, and the location could not be more appropriate. Since I'm basically the first person here each morning and grab the first non-handicap spot, I'll be able to see this sign before entering the building each morning. Meanwhile, anyone who parks illegally in the handicap spot will know Bob is looking down on them with evil eyes. As anyone who knows me will tell you, short speeches are not my specialty, but I will make an exception in this case. A special thanks to Councilwoman Maria Maruca, who was the first person I reached out to and came up with the idea of a street sign. She embraced it from the start, and along with the Township Council, had a resolution passed that allowed for this dedication today. Bob was the person who basically hired me 39 years ago, and for that entire time was a co-worker, confidant, mentor, and friend. His impact on WOBM is immeasurable. He was the original employee, and for 50 years did just about everything you can do in the radio business. He was the one who steered the growth of the radio station, and while best known for his near 4-decade tenure as the creator and host of Topic A on Sunday morning, he was also the station's sports director, sales manager, and general manager. I would hope more than anything that what this sign means is he becomes a permanent part of Toms River, where he lived for some 40 years. One day soon, I can imagine someone looking up and asking, who was Wilsey and who was Bob Levy? Frankly, I don't know the answer to the first, but I can certainly answer the second. By the way, if Bob were alive today, he would likely complain that it wasn't a more well-known street, like Washington Street or Hooper Avenue. The good news is nobody will complain about the traffic on Bob Levy Way. So on behalf of all of us at Town Square Media, we thank Mayor Kelleher and the Town Council for this truly special dedication. Thank you.
Thank you. That was probably one of Kevin's shortest speeches. We're giving credit to the council and two of our, besides the Councilman Hill, two of our other council people here. Marie Maruca is behind me, and Councilman George Whitman are both here, and certainly are supporters of this effort. The next person I'd like to introduce is Bob's wife, Mary Ann, who is not only his wife, but an everyday partner in the broadcast on the station. And Mary Ann, do you want to just come up and say a few words?
Thank you. I said I wasn't going to cry, and I'm not going to. First of all, thanks for the weather, Bob. You're holding off. And Bob was always, when I met him 26 years ago when he picked me up on the beach, literally picked me up on the beach, he said, there's just something about you, and I thought there was something about him. 9 months later, we were married. He instilled in me a positivity. I'm not going to go into it. He just made me who I am today, and I want to thank him for that. He's always, always about community. If anyone ever asked him for anything, he never hesitated and said no. If it was out of his own pocket or just asking the community for help, he was there. He was just there. Never asked for anything in return, never wanted any kind of recognition. He never wanted to be put on a pedestal. But guess what, Bob? You're on a pole today. I love you. I miss you. I wish you were here with us, but I just want to thank him and thank everybody for giving me this. And it is giving it to me, because now when I come in, there's a dog barking. It's a sign. I'm telling you, it's a sign. It's a dog. It's a big dog. I just want to thank everybody for this, and you're my family, you're my friends, and if it wasn't for you, I don't know if I could make it through this, all this, what's going on, but thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Ann. I just want everybody to know that on March 13th of this year, the governing body passed a resolution honoring Bob and making arrangements for this dedication. And I have a copy of the resolution here that was passed by the governing body. I'm not going to read it all, but what it does is it recites Bob's history growing up in the community. He's got part of what Mo Hill said about his involvement in sports, his time in the Navy during the Korean War, and everything that he's done in the broadcast business in Toms River. We're having this resolution mounted on a very permanent frame that we will deliver to the station and have it posted, hopefully on the Levy broadcast floor up there. So I have that here, and I just want to let you know that that's what we're doing. The next thing we have is the actual unveiling of the sign, and Mary Ann and I are going to try and do this without any disaster.